I suppose the first thing that happened when you arrived in New York, or perhaps even before you arrived, was 9/11.
I was not yet really moved in. This was September 2001.
I was worried. I remember that you might think twice about it.
And of course, it was so terrible. I mean, just the whole horror. It didn't occur to me not to go into New York, actually.
Had you already accepted the position?
I had already accepted it, and you know, I didn't think, and I was right, that there would be constant terrorist attacks on New York. I was just more worried about the whole future of the country and what's going to happen. People said, well, you know, in New York, it's more vulnerable to that because there are more people, and that's true compared to suburban New Jersey, but I didn't really think anyone was safe. And you know, I had wanted all along to teach, and I had liked the idea of being in academia. Bell Labs, in some sense, was more academic than academia, and I thought I should, you know, try the Courant.
But ironically, you didn't teach at first anyway.
I know.
Because you were
Dave
doing
told
administration.
Dave told me not to. Dave said, I think you should not teach at first, because he said it's a lot of work being department chair.
Which it was. 7 years, I guess, you were department chair plus 1 year on leave, I think.
Right, exactly. Well, we hired some wonderful people. It was a good effort. Yeah. Hiring at Bell Labs was more hierarchical. I mean, the department heads tended to sort of decide. They would ask people, what do you think of this candidate? But the decision was really made by the department head. At Courant, it's really, I mean, the chair does not have sole responsibility for doing it. So it's much more democratic, which calls on a different set of skills to make sure that everybody agrees as much as possible about that. The other thing that was good, I thought, was having a very broad view of computer science. I got that somewhat at Bell Labs because we were in a computer science center. You know, so we would have what was called the show and tell every week, which I loved. I wish we could do that at Courant, where every week, everyone in the center had to get up and give an informal talk about what he or she was doing. And that was really good, and everybody went to it, and you could sort of learn what your colleagues were doing. We don't have anything like that. I think people are too busy. I think people just, I think that would not work unless it were a tradition, which it isn't. And then getting the PhD students. I mean, the students are very exciting, and you know, they're doing good work, and meeting them and kind of the next generation and what's happening. That's very exciting as well.
Now that you are no longer department chair, you're finally getting to teach. And so how do you like that?
It's always interesting to teach material that in theory you should know, because I've taught optimization and I've taught numerical and scientific computing, which are my research areas. So people that don't know me say, well, can't you just lecture about that in your sleep? Why do you need to prepare? Because I'll say I have to prepare my class. And they'll say, why do you have to prepare? And I don't know why. It's because I'm crazy or something, but I read what I talked about before and I think, oh, I forgot this, or I want to present it a different way, or I want to do something like that. And I end up redoing the whole thing. And of course, the students, I think, don't have any idea that that's taking any work. They may just think you show up and lecture. And maybe some people do, but I'm not like that. So I'm always fussing and worrying and so on and so forth. And I don't like to give the same homework problems twice, so I'm always thinking of how can I do new homework problems, and then I want to do the homework problems myself, and I often discover things that are kind of interesting, often to do with the numerical issues. I'll say, oh, this is funny, why is this doing this? So I find it intriguing, even in the most elementary classes. And NYU undergraduates are very good. I mean, it's hard to get into NYU as an undergraduate. And the students who were the tops in my undergraduate courses are just fantastically good. And it's great to work with them. It's good to work with other students too, but the ones that are really interested and very enthusiastic bring a great joy. So I like that too.